Friends, we are very happy to inform you that e-modules are prepared for B.Ed program at Telangana by the School of Education, Osmania University under Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching Scheme MHRD New Delhi. It's indeed our pleasure to share with the teacher educators and the prospective teachers and get maximum benefit out of it. It's a first of its attempt by us. We continue to add many more such lessons to share with you all.
Good morning. I am Dr. Bhagyamma, working as Assistant Professor in Department of Education, Osmania University. Today I am going to teach about community resources. It is very important in social pedagogy. So, community resources. What is a community? Community is a social unit with commonality such as norms, religion, values, customs or identity. Communities may share a sense of place situated in a given geographical area. Example, it's a village or a town or a country or a neighborhood in virtual space through communication platforms. Although communities are usually small relative to a personal societies, community may also refer to large group affiliations such as national communities, international communities and virtual communities. What is the meaning of the community? The word community is derived from the old French word communite, which is derived from the Latin communitas, a broad term for fellowship or organized society. The term community have two distinct communicative meanings. Community can refer to usually small social unit of any size that shares common values. It can also be referring to the national community or international community, and secondly it is a group of interacting living organism sharing a populated environment. According to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, community is defined as all the people who live in a particular area, country, etc. Community are all about a group in geographical area. It's a community are all about group in a geographical area. Community resources. These community resources are sources in an area that accommodate, satisfy some requirements for around them. The resources may include, these resources may include people, sites or buildings and population assistance. Community resources that facilitate include everything in the community that can be used to illustrate a concept or generalization. Community resources development is all about quality of life and engagement by building stronger communities through civil engagement and using resources in the best manner for desirable organizations or individuals. Community resources vary from community to community. The opportunities which the teacher is an open rural area has only slightly related to those of teacher in an urban area, but community study opportunities are available to every school and should be explored. What is the importance of community resources in social studies education? The proper utilization of community resources by the teachers and school may help to the welfare of the students. They will increase their interest, the students, to concrete and learn the subject matter of social studies. The community resources are effectively useful for students to learn very easy and provide source of information and knowledge to the students. The teaching learning of various topics of social studies by using the community resources, it helpful for students to learn the subject matter in a natural way. The community resources are useful in supplementing the classroom instructional work and filling up the gaps of the subject matter where the child is feeling difficulty. The community resources may helpful to the students to have all-round development of the personality, such as providing more information, improving their knowledge, skills, their interest, moral and spiritual, intellectual, aesthetic development. Utilization of the community resources helps the social studies teacher in providing desirable entertainment and utilization of leisure time, sharing of experiences, satisfying the needs and interest of the students. The community resources may help the students to learn and real lessons and make them as responsible citizens of the society. There are some types of learning resources. Sources of geographical interest. It may include some such places as factories, mills, railway station, seaports, airports, telephone exchange, radio station, television center, rivers, canals, mountains, hills, valleys, glaciers, rocks, deserts, oceans, minerals, etc. Sources of historical interest. It may include temples, churches, gurudwaras, mosques, old historical records, buildings, monuments, museums, historical remains, ancient books, documents, literature, relics, inscriptions, excavations, caves, etc. There are other sources of civic interest. It may include Parliament, State Assembly, Supreme Court, High Court, United Nations organizations, village, panchayat, Jilla Parshad, municipality, municipal corporation, etc. Next, sources of economic interest. It includes banks, trading centers, stock exchange, market, insurance offices, dairy farms and shopping malls, industrial units, etc. Sources of cultural interest. For example, clubs, parks, homes, hotels, community centers, cultural festivals, traditions, customs, folk songs, folk dances, art theatres and galleries, cinema halls, schools, colleges, universities, etc. Sources of religious interest. So here the temples, churches, gurudwaras, mosques, religious books and literature, various religious places, religious festivals, religious graveyards, religious persons, etc. Next, sources of scientific interest. So here the scientific laboratories, hydropower generating stations, television and radio transmission stations, experimentation stations, science and technological institutions, astronomical places, aeronauts, space flights, etc. and government buildings. So here We can include government buildings, government hospitals, government police stations, water supply, community center, post office, income tax departments, sale tax departments, telephone exchange office, government courts, Raj Bhavan, Rashtrapati Bhavan, Parliament House, State Assembly halls, secretariats, etc. Forms of social control. It may include traditions, customs, rituals, ceremonies, practices, beliefs, attitudes of the community. Students should be encouraged to construct and reconstruct their knowledge from observing, classifying, categorizing, questioning, reasoning, arguing and interacting with the natural world, and those people are staying around the environment. A social studies teacher here, she should think on the line of flexibility, contextuality and plurality in designing curricular experiences. In order to relate teaching learning of social studies with immediate environment of students, a number of carry home activities can be identified as an extension of classroom activity. Pooling of resources. Here teaching aids and other materials as well as books, toys and games help make school interesting for children. In some states of the country, good use has been made of the funding assistance through district primary education program and other programs for acquiring and developing teaching learning materials. A lot of ready-made materials do exist and teachers, cluster and block level resource persons need to become better acquainted with the range of materials available and ways of using them. And non-government organizations and small entrepreneurs produce these resources with little cost and make them available for schools. Teachers need to explore various types of raw materials that can be used to make teaching aids that will last year after year, so that the precious time they invest in making these teaching aids. The resource materials like maps and pictures, folders and specific equipment could be shared among schools if they are placed in the cluster center, which can then serve as a resource library, so that for period of teaching the teacher borrows materials from the cluster and thereafter returns them to the cluster to enable some other teachers to borrow them. In this way, the resources gathered by one teacher can also be utilized by other teachers. And it would become possible to have multiple sets necessary for the whole class to use. Schools could benefit from the opportunities laid by governments and also explore the possibilities that are available at the local level for augmenting their teaching, learning, play material. Utilization of community resources. Methods of utilizing community resources. Here basically two methods in which the teacher may make use of community resources. One method is bringing community to the class and other method is taking class to the community. Bringing community to the class. Here teacher must explore opportunities for active engagement of the parents and the community in the teaching learning process of social studies. Different members of the community also hold a large variety of valuable knowledge. Many of these members may be willing to share their knowledge and experience with the students. These members can be invited to school and students can interact with them. Teachers should remain aware of the range of community, individuals and organizations that can be accessed to provide significant learning experiences to students. Here, some important means of bringing the community to the school: inviting eminent persons. So here we can invite any person to the school, many engineer or a doctor or a professional person. So the community human resources which can be utilized by the enterprising teacher to enrich and vitalize the school programs. These distinguished persons can explain to students their own important role in the community and services rendered by them to community in the different directions. Second one, parent teacher association. These parent teacher association meetings it is constructive involvement of parents in the school policy and program planning, execution and evaluation is very useful. Parent teacher association can cooperate in efforts to make the school a real community center, to locate and list resource visitors to the school. Parents will know what is going on in the school and what is expected of their wards. Parents have the opportunity to appreciate the work of teachers in the school. Next, third one, social service activities. So school map can be made the center of social education. Bulletin boards may be set up containing daily news and other useful information about the local community in particular and the country in general. The school furniture, the rooms, the playgrounds, the school hall, the school gymnasium and audio-visual aids may be freely lent to the adult community for purpose of education and recreation. Celebration of festivals, fairs, events. Schools can take the lead in celebration of various festivals such as Bonalu, Bhagyamma, Diwali, Holi, Christmas, Ugadi, Ramjan, Independence Day, Republic Day, Unite Nations Day, Human Rights Day and Red Cross Day and National Days, Constitutional Day. So social studies can be very well taught with the help of fair festivals and national days to be celebrated in the community. Every child's interest to know the significance of these social events. These opportunities provide extremely dynamic, interesting, real life opportunities for learning. So celebrations of birth and death anniversaries of great men can make the children familiar with the noble ideas and deeds of the great men. So here celebration, the local community residents be invited and may be encouraged to participate in different activities. Competitions can also be arranged in the school and notable persons from the community be asked to preside over and give away prizes to the winners. Organizing adult education centers. So here the adult education programs in rural and urban areas, they should conduct regular campaigns against illiteracy and education the adults of the local community. Students should also be associated in this work. Arranges a school library for community. Here efforts should be made to extend the services of the school library to the community. Arrange a room for parents and other public to issue various books to them to use before and after school hours, on holidays and during vacation. Formation of alumni association. The old students of the school, particularly social studies students who have settled in various professionals, should form alumni association for giving their helping hand to the school to share their experiences related to their field of expertise. Organizing exhibition. The school should organize a school exhibition on occasions like a school day for students and other public days. This exhibition may consist of various teaching learning materials such as visual teaching aids, audio teaching aids and audio visual teaching aids. Career conferences. It may be organized with the help of parents and other community members for providing career guidance and counseling to the students. Specialists in various fields may be selected from among the parents and their talks arranged on the various aspects of their occupations. Next, arranging talks on national and international topics. Arranging talks on national and international problems may be arranged in school. When such talks are arranged by the school authorities, the members of the community may be cordially invited to listen and participate in the discussion. Second one, taking class to the community. So here many cases students can be taken to the community resources of learning. This makes learning realistic, concrete and interesting. Students get opportunity to discover the concept and their connection with their environment. They can use this opportunity to learn various skills in interacting with the physical world, materials, technology and other people. It helps students to create knowledge by figuring out the components of subjects, events, people and concept. Field trips and excursions. So these are very important in the community resources. Here field trips and excursions may be useful to the students as it may be enable them to recognize flowers, plants, trees, birds, cattle which they may come across during their trip. They will also be able to observe various irrigation facilities, roads, means of transport, agricultural crops, various industrial units, trade center, places of economic interest during such a visit. They are very good means of getting knowledge first hand, of confirming and supplementing second hand knowledge. They are means for sharpening observation, testing principles and doing everything which social studies requires. Field trips and excursions to places of civic, cultural, geographical, social and scientific places. Second one, community surveys. These community surveys can provide an excellent educational experience to students. They are one of the organized and systematic methods for an accurate determination of social or physical data. Survey foster comprehensive understanding of community structure and process in their everyday operation, interacting and complexity. Surveys may be conducted to study the past history of the community, the present position of the community, economic conditions of the community, etc. Surveys can also be conducted about the social institutions, traditions, customs, ceremonies, folk lores, folk dances, habits, etc. prevalent in the community. Even the common problems such as housing, unemployment, poverty, child labor, place of women, etc. can form the topic of a survey. For conducting survey, the students can take the help from social workers elders of the society, government officials, etc. They can consult maps, charts, records, documents available and may visit certain places, buildings, offices, factories to get more information. They are extremely useful in the stimulating depth of insight into vital community problems which should be met. And they suggest possibilities for student participation in the affairs of the community. Any aspect of community which has meaning for young people may be considered an appropriate field for school survey. Next, third one, organization of relief services. School students may take a lead in organizing relief services in the community. Such services be organized under the guidance and supervision of a teacher. Sometimes such relief services are required. They can be organized at the times of natural calamities such as cyclones, floods, earthquake, epidemic like coronavirus. Community services which includes cleanliness of the community, attending on the sick, social service, fairs, service in fairs, planting of trees, digging of manure pits, making of drains, etc. All these activities help in developing a sense of dignity, labor, fellow feeling among the students. School campus. The classroom is a part of the large community. The outdoor environment in and around the camp offers tremendous possibilities for true education. The opportunities to learn, work and play amidst the natural resources of the area stimulate interest and concern for the protection and wise use of natural resources of the community. School campaign encourage, directs learning experiences and has potential life situations that are conducive to the most effective teaching methods, that is through learning by done, seeing, hearing, testing, smelling and feeling with a minimum of answers given by teachers and resource leaders. Service projects can prove quite useful for the social studies students. Social service among the backward population of the town such as cleanliness, anti-mosquito campaigns, bathing young children, attending on the sick, school labor service being organized on special occasions such as Republic Day, Independence Day, activities like planting of trees, road repairs and erection of platforms, cleaning of lanes, digging of nature pits and drains may be taken up. Animal welfare through provision of water facilities, fodder and medical aid, beautification of villages through planting of trees, laying out avenues, clearing up of public places like streets, temples, drains, etc. The role of teacher in utilizing the community resources. Here the teacher role is very important. It can never be overemphasized as the pilot of class activities and as a facilitator, as a mentor. The teacher occupies an important position to the proper utilization of the community resources. The teacher should show considerable patience and tact in dealing with the parents. In the community life, there is always the likelihood of the existence of extents like favorism, nepotism, dishonesty, hypocrisy, etc. It is the duty of the teacher to bring home to the students the idea that children are not only to study community life for its own sake, it is the study ultimately who can guide it by fighting these evil trends. he or she should neither suppress fact nor ignore them. It is the duty of the teacher to make a wise and judicious study of a community life, so that reasonable pride on its past achievement and faith in its future possibilities is built. The teacher must be careful in developing the right attitudes towards the community, local, national and international. He must display initiative and resourcefulness, foresight and patience to build the community understanding of the peoples. Only in this way we can help and prepare them to be worthy members of the community. And what are the advantages of utilizing community resources? Achievement of new experience and increasing interest on work, opportunity of selection of profession, gaining of new information and practical knowledge on community, utilization of leisure time, development of democratic traits and making of innovative ideas, development of internal attitude based on the principle of practicality. There are some hurdles in under utilization of resources technology. Number one, vision and time. So here, instead of teaching students how to be taught, we must change the culture to teach them how to take responsibility for their learning. We competition and will have to continuously retool their skills. Second one, technocentric control versus creativity. Here we can prepare our students to work with the people around the world. Some schools worry more about network security than about expanding the boundaries of learning. Here paper continues to be the dominant technology tool in the most schools. Our curriculum continues to be delivered largely through textbooks, which in some states can be updated only once every 5 years. Third one, staff development. Tapping into what teachers love to do and aligning that with technology is more effective than having teachers learn to create PowerPoint presentations. Blogs are a classic example. They allow for improved writing and authentic audience, building portfolios and self-reflection. Fourth one, the creativity gap. So here there is a lot of creativity gap between the students and teachers. Students have more creativity than teachers because of two elements, that is always 24/7 learning opportunities and more rigor, discipline and creativity in the way student assignments are designed. Organizational design. So here sooner we help curriculum leaders move from paper based curricula to digital access, the sooner we will be able to help students who can't keep in class. For this we need curriculum directors who fully understand the power of networks to support and expand the boundaries of learning. Sixth one, plagiarism. The teacher can respond to the massive increase in cutting and pasting by trying to catch the culprits or by redesigning assignments to make it almost impossible for students to cheat. If we assign students to find some project sources on the internet, some may use information without gaining any real knowledge. The alternative is give students academic challenges that place little value on cutting and pasting. When students know their work will be available for anyone to access, it has a chilling effect on plagiarism. Seventh one, lack of critical thinking. So students who use the internet must know how to deal with massive amounts of information, separate fact from fiction, think critically about time spent on the web and keep themselves safe. We must make the students know what they must do when they are on their own by teaching the standards of critical internet thinking skills. We can conclude it they are glued together. The aspirations of the community or the manifestations of the school system. The idea of making the community the best of the school and the school the best of the community represents a fruitful and essential extension of accepted educational thinking and practice. So this movement is the most significant single development of its kind in our generation, and it seems destined to grow greatly with continuing sound experimentation at all school levels in all teaching field with all types of students and in all community areas, local, regional, national and international. So thank you for your patient listening.